In this question, we're given an equation that represents the total cost for holding a dance with n number of guests. We're also told that the total number of guests cannot exceed 150, and we have to figure out all the possible values for the total cost of this situation. Well, the first thing we might notice is that this equation is linear, where the 25 represents the initial value or initial cost, and the 15 represents the rate or cost per person. If we wanted to get a visual picture, we could draw the cost line versus the n line and see what happens. We know that if no guests attended, the initial cost would be $25, which is about there. And we know that the rate increases at $15 per guest. So we'd have a line going up to the right gradually. And this line would stop when we get to 150 guests, because that's the maximum we're allowed. So our range for the guests allowed is from 0 to 150. So if we moved up to our line from 150 and then went over to our cost axis, and there's a point there, the range of all possible values for total cost would be between our minimum cost when there's no guests all the way up to our maximum cost when there's 150 guests. So represented by this range right there. So if we can figure out the values at this point and this point here, we can figure out our range. So let's draw a table of values representing the number of guests versus the total cost, and we'll go from our minimum value of 0 if there's no guests attending up to our maximum when there's 150 guests attending. We can sub these values of n into our equation, and that will give us our minimum and maximum values. Alright, let's start with our minimum value. What we do is we substitute 0 into our equation, so that would be c equals 25 plus 15 times 0, no guests attending, which will give us $25. So this would be 25, and we know that this value here would be $25. Now let's work out the maximum. Again, substitute 150 this time into our cost equation, so 25 plus 15 times 150, which would be 25 plus 2,250. Add those two together, we get 2,275. So our maximum cost would be 2,275, and that would be this point right here, 2,275. So our range of all possible values for cost is from 25 to 2,275, and if we look down our list of options here, we can see that A is the right answer.